All right, we are live once again. Thank you for anybody's going to be joining us. We'll give it a few minutes, see who shows up. Today, just for fun, I thought we'd talk about a question I asked on Medium. I guess it would have been yesterday or the day before yesterday. Namely, who was the first stonemason? So I'm going to put this on the screen. I'll give it a few minutes and we'll see who shows up. Give it a few minutes. Let me know what you think. I think I did a poll, but I don't think I got any answers to it, actually. Let me just check. Let's give it some time, see if anybody shows up. I'm not the, I really have to do these more probably at a consistent time, but welcome to the Square and Compass podcast live stream. Been trying to do these every day this week. We'll see how it goes. Today, I want to talk about who was the first stonemason and some interesting kind of questions about that. Just going to wait to see anybody who shows up. Like I said, we're here to talk about who was the first stonemason, which I thought might be a really interesting conversation to have and thing to discuss. So we'll give it a bit of time. We had a great live stream yesterday talking about Remembrance Day, and we used the book The Masonic War Dead of Essex County during the 20th century, which was great as well. So yeah, it was really good. But today, I thought it might be kind of fun to ask this question: who was the first stonemason? And it goes back pretty far. Although you may have your own answers to the question, who was the first stonemason, which would be great if you want to answer that as well. But jump in the chat and say hello. Per Wikipedia, right? Stonemasonry. You need to encounter 33 degree and you'll know. Well, so there you go. I'm not a 33rd degree. I am 18th degree Scottish Rite, up to Rose Croix. I'm not sure, Mitchie, where you're from in Canada. I know a lot of places in the States, they do all of their Scottish Rite degrees basically over a weekend, over a single night, or single weekend, I should say. In Canada, it's divided up. You get your Lodge of Perfection first, from basically the 4th degree to the 13th degree. Then you get your Rose Croix, 15th, 18th, usually a couple months later. And then a couple months after that, you end up going to consistory in Ontario. It's in Hamilton. So I'm not 33rd degrees, although I appreciate you letting me know that. Although I wasn't even so interested in the idea of what is, who was the first stonemason as it relates to what Freemasonry may say in ritual or just an understanding, but even just from a historical perspective, who was the first stonemason? Because you can say Freemasonry traces its literal origins to the stonemason guilds of medieval Europe. Medieval Europe or the Middle Ages dates from AD 600 to AD 1500. So you could argue or ask, is that when Freemasonry, or is that the origin or the date of the first stonemason? But then you can go back to an earlier age, right? Freemasonry traces its figurative origins to the building of King Solomon's Temple and the stonemasons employed therein. The building of King Solomon's Temple dates to approximately 950 BC. So, could you say that the first stonemason was of the age 950 BC, kind of a biblical age? But we can go back to an even earlier age, right? Freemasonry traces its usages and customs to ancient Egyptian stonemasons and the building of the Great Pyramids. The building of the Great Pyramids dates between 2600 BC and 2500 BC. But we can go back to an even earlier age. Stonemasonry existed in an earlier age than above. The construction of Stonehenge by Neolithic stonemasons began at 3100 BC and continued to about 1600 BC. The most famous part dated between 2600 and 2400. So you could say, does Freemasonry, or the first Freemason or stonemason, date to 3100 BC? Right? Many other cultures developed stonemasonry independently of what was and is found in Europe. This includes Tenochtitlan, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, which was an Aztec city that dates between 1325 and 1521 AD. However, based on the above, can we say that the earliest example of stonemasonry dates to 3000 BC, or really 3100 BC? Or can we go back even earlier? Perhaps we can go to an even earlier age. As Wikipedia states, stone tools found from 2011 to 2014 at the Lomki archaeology site in Kenya are dated to be 3.3 million years old and predate the genus Homo, human beings, or the genus of human beings, by about 1 million years. The oldest known Homo fossil is 2.4 to 2.3 million years old, compared to the 3.3 million year old stone tools. The stone tools may have been made by Australopithecus afarensis. Might stonemasonry date to an age before humans existed? Might stonemasonry, or the craft of shaping and arranging stones, be the invention of our ancestor Australopithecus afarensis and date to a prehistoric age of 3.3 million years? If stonemasonry dates to an age before humans, then was the first stonemason even human, or rather one of our ancestors taking the first steps in what would become 3.3 million years later Freemasonry? I think it's fascinating. Let me know what you think of that in the chat. Do you think stonemasonry could potentially date to a time that predates humans, 3.3 million years old? Welcome to the Square and Compass chat. If you're just jumping in, jump in the chat, say hello, let us know what you want to talk about. Usually takes about half an hour for people to start showing up, so we got a bit of time, but we'll keep waiting and see what people want to talk about. And let me know what you think of this question here. Actually, maybe what I'll do is I'll put it down in a, whatchamacallit, in a poll. As soon as I could. We're going to start the poll there. We'll see how long it takes if anybody wants to respond. In the meantime, like I said, please take a minute, jump in the chat, say hello. We'll give it a bit of time. I'm actually going to be going to a bingo tonight, volunteering for a friend of mine, so that should be soon. If you're jumping in, feel free to answer the poll question. Do you think Freemasonry or stonemasonry could predate human beings? Which we mentioned in the, we asked in the chat. If you can jump in the chat, let me know how you guys are doing. Much appreciated. As well as if you want to talk about, doesn't just have to be about this, by the way. I'm always love talking about. Sorry about that. There we go. Playback there. But as well as anything else we want to chat about is fine with me. But obviously, the most important thing is Freemasonry. That tends to be what we always focus on here, although we have had some great conversations in the past talking about anything from scary movies, which I love, to professional wrestling, to anything else, but the focus has always been on Freemasonry. Welcome to the Square and Compass live stream. Today, we're asking the question, might stonemasonry date to an age before humans existed? The reason we're obviously asking this is because stonemasonry is literally where Freemasonry, or the place from which Freemasonry literally traces its origins. So I thought that might be kind of a fun question. We went to some Wikipedia articles to check, and I'm not saying, by the way, because some people were going to say this, or I'm not suggesting it was aliens or anything like that. What I'm saying is, might it date to one of our evolutionary ancestors, Australopithecus afarensis? I really want to get a stone tool expert on the podcast, which is one of my goals. So hopefully soon. But in the meantime, kind of hard to do a live chat if nobody's jumping on. So jump on the chat, say hello, let me know what you want to talk about. Welcome to the live stream. We're saying jump in the chat, say hello, and let me know what it is that you guys want to talk about. Obviously, we're asking the question today, who was the first stonemasonry, or who is the first stonemason? Or you can answer our poll question: could stonemasonry have predate humans? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think of these things. It usually takes about half an hour for people to show up, so we'll keep waiting. We'll keep seeing who arrives. But obviously, we don't just have to talk about stonemasonry. We can talk about anything else that you guys want. And again, when I say could stonemasonry predate humans, I don't mean there's aliens. I mean, could stonemasonry, depending on how you define it, actually date back to our evolutionary ancestors, Australopithecus afarensis, and all the other ancestors which existed before the genus Homo, dating to 3.3 million years. But by all means, we don't just have to chat about this. The fun thing about this live stream is I love chatting about all sorts of different things in Freemasonry. It doesn't just have to be about this question. I always love going on different topics and different explorations and exploring different things. So by all means, jump in. Let me know what it is you want to talk about in the chat. Could even be something as relates to, say, pop culture, because that's always fun to talk about as well. In my humble opinion, I love talking about pop culture. Sometimes pop culture as it relates to Freemasonry, sometimes just pop culture in general. Somebody said that actually Nimrod from the Bible, who I guess constructed the Tower of Babel, was the first stonemason. Although, to my understanding, it was always made of mud and brick, like mud, not stone. But I could be wrong. Let me know if I am in the comments if you know any of your biblical history. I'm actually going to look it up on Google right now because I'm idly curious. The son of Cush, and therefore the great-grandson of Noah. He was described as a king in the land of Shinar, Lower Mesopotamia. I'm going to just stop sharing this. Oops, I'm dropping stuff here. Nimrod as the ruler who had commissioned the construction of the Tower of Babel and Jacob's ladder, and that edification led to his reputation as a king who had been rebellious against God. According to the story, United Human Race. So I'm just looking at what the Tower of Babel was supposedly made out of. Okay, so it says, and they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks of fire thoroughly." And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. They said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens, and let us make a name for ourselves. Otherwise, we will be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth." So that's interesting. So that is, I guess you could argue that would make Nimrod the first stonemason, or that's the time to which stonemasonry exists. But I don't know if there's a date. Let me see here. Definitely was at 3.3 million years ago, though. I'll say that. And they said to one another, "Come, let us make bricks and fire them thoroughly." And they had brick for stone and bitumen for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city and a tower with its top in the heavens." Wonder if there's a date here that we could find in terms of when this dates to, or in theory when this dates to anyways, or in traditionally when the myth dates to. Biblical scholars see the book of Genesis as mythological and not historical account. Genesis is described as beginning with historicized myth and ending with mythicized history. Possible origins was etymology was the name of a ziggurat dedicated to Marduk in the city of Babylon. It was famously built by the 6th century Neo-Babylonian dynasty rulers, but had fallen by the time of Alexander's conquest. So that is 484 to 425. So maybe 6th century BC is potentially what we're looking at. something to that effect. Um, I don't know for sure, but I think that is potentially interesting. Oh, we got 2 votes. Could stonemasonry predate humans? 2 votes, 2 people saying yes. Thank you so much. If you could put in the chat why it is that you think that, what it is you think, or why you answered yes to that question, I'd very much appreciate it. Also, if you're just joining us, please hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. And also let us know what it is that you guys want to chat about. We're asking the question here, who was the first stonemason and could Freemasonry, or stonemason, sorry, who was the first stonemason and could stonemasonry predate humans? Let us know, first of all, if you answered the poll question, why you think that. And also, just let us know what you want to talk about. We don't just have to talk about this topic. We can talk about anything you guys want to talk about. Like I said, the goal is to focus on and discuss Freemasonry, but Freemasonry is a very broad topic. That's kind of why I love it so much. There's so many things worth discussing. But say hello in the chat. Let me know if you follow Scoring Compass Promotions, and if you do, what it is that you guys want to talk about. Maybe topics you wish would be brought up in Lodge that aren't, or if you're not a Freemason, maybe questions you've always wanted to ask but never got around to. I'm happy to deal with those things as well. Or when it comes to the idea of could stonemasonry predate humans, are you guys thinking kind of some of the more, I'm not thinking that, I'm thinking human ancestors dating millions of years ago, Australopithecus and Neanderthal man, which I guess didn't predate modern humans. He's contemporaneous with us. But yeah, are you thinking stonemasonry predating humans as in other species or even aliens on other planets develop stonemasonry? I mean, the universe is 14 billion years old or something like that. It might be older now thanks to the James Webb Telescope. So it's kind of an interesting question, right? Welcome. I do hope you guys will hit the like button and subscribe button as we continue to discuss could stonemasonry predate humans. Obviously, that's important for Freemasonry because Freemasonry traces its literal origins to stonemasons, particularly but not limited to stonemason guilds in Europe. Also, by the way, we've got we're working from Compass on getting some more of our um, um, scale model Windsor Masonic Temples designed. We should have those soon, and once we do, I will let you guys know because they make great Christmas and holiday gifts, and Christmas is coming up. We also enjoyed yesterday. It was a very solemn occasion, obviously Remembrance Day, but we went to the cenotaph, and the day before that, we went to Malden Park for a memorial service there. So that was really special as well. But jump in the chat. Let me know if you answered the poll question, why you answered it in the affirmative. We had 2 votes, both for yes, and also what you guys think about the question. Or again, it could be anything you guys want to talk about as it relates to Freemasonry. If you are a Mason, maybe things you want to discuss about your lodge or bring up in your lodge, but haven't done so yet. If you're not a Freemason, questions you have about Freemasonry, what it is, and I can try to answer as best I can. I became a Mason in 2007. So I'm not saying I'm an expert by any means, but I do have at least some knowledge on it. So I can try to help out as best I can. And yeah, thank you everybody who's joining in. As always, hit the like button, subscribe button, answer the poll question. Could stonemasonry predate humans? And if you think it could, let me know why. Let me know what your thoughts are to that. But the more likes, the more subscriptions we get, the more people will find this live stream. We got 5 people watching right now, so thank you so much. We've done a lot of these live streams. Yesterday we did one on Remembrance Day, which was great. So hope you guys will keep joining us. We had 11 people join us so far altogether, so that's wonderful. Let's say we got 2 people watching right now. Welcome to the... Oh, Matthew. Thank you so much for jumping in. We appreciate it. I hope you check out some of those resources I sent you. Just wondering what made you want to become a Freemason. Thank you. So, there's a couple things. So the main thing is I grew up in and around Freemasonry. My dad was a Freemason, so I always assumed I would join. Both of my grandparents were Freemasons, though my dad's grandfather passed away. So my dad's father passed away before I was born, so I never met him, but he was a Mason. And my mom's father, my maternal grandfather, Papa, he was a Mason, though I didn't really know about it much growing up that he was a Mason. Though I knew my dad was a Mason, he was very, very active. And so for me, I always kind of assumed that I would join. And knowing the family connections and knowing what Freemason was about, it was always my assumption I'd join sooner or later. The reason I decided to join in Windsor is because I was here for school and I just happened to pass the Masonic Temple, and I saw it and I decided, hey, I could maybe join there because I know I've got to be in school for at least a few more years. And then if I move, I could always join a lodge in another location. I kind of knew the basics of how it worked. So yeah, so that's why I joined, to kind of maintain the family tradition. But I'm also really happy that when I did join, I joined away from my dad because, not that, I love my dad, obviously. He was a great dad and a great Mason. But if I joined back in Winnipeg, I feel like I might have become, I would have joined and I would always be like Harry's son, right? Because my dad was a Grand Lodge officer and obviously very involved. So it was nice joining in Winnipeg, or in Windsor, excuse me, away from my family, where I could join as Cameron. And it was even fun because that way, when my dad came to visit me, it was me bringing him into lodge, not the other way around, not him, bringing me into lodge. So that was kind of special. But that is why I decided I wanted to become a Freemason. Very happy again that I did it in Windsor when I did it, and it worked out well. So I hope that kind of answers that question. No worries. Let me know if you answered the poll question, by the way, and what you think of the question. Also, as always, hit the like button and subscribe button if you haven't done so. All that stuff really helps other people find us. If you checked us out on other locations, on Medium, for example, we're always posting stuff there. The more likes and shares and follows and all that stuff, right? It's cliche, but it's true. It does help people find the podcast. Although in a couple seconds, I'm going to have to run to the washroom. I got to go like crazy. So I may be leaving you guys with my friendly neighborhood stuffed animal toy here. I'll give it a few minutes. But in the meantime, thank you guys for joining us. Let me know what it is, again, that you guys want to talk about. I have the question up there. Could stonemasonry predate humans? A couple of people said yes. Let me know why you're answering yes. I can tell you why I asked the question. Obviously, though, Freemasonry traces its literal origins to stonemasonry, particularly stonemason guilds in medieval Europe or the Middle Ages, but goes pretty far back. So you could argue that stonemasonry itself goes much, much further back than Middle Ages and medieval Europe. But I have to go for 1 second. I promise I'll be back. In the meantime, though, not going too far. I'm going to leave you guys with my friend here. Let's see if you guys can see him. There you go. I'll be back in a moment. Keep answering the live stream poll. All right, I made it back. Very sorry if anybody left, but like I said, I turned to the washroom. I would listen to a lot of people actually left, but that's okay. I appreciate all the questions or the few questions we've got. We'll give it a little, maybe I'll just do an hour today. We'll see. But thank you guys for sharing the answers to the poll question. And let me know what it is, again, that you guys want to chat about. It doesn't just have to be about this. It can be about anything related to Freemasonry. We had Needle join us. Thank you so much. We had Matthew Isherwood. Also, thank you so much. Hope everybody keeps following me. And also, a Google account. Apparently, YouTube really wants me to be interested in Freemasonry. I don't know why. I don't know why either. But having said that, thank you so much for joining us. I'm hoping that you can maybe like and subscribe to the channel and let me know what it is you want to talk about. Is it like I've been a Freemason since 2007 in Ontario. I can't answer every question, but I can answer some questions, or at least maybe potentially put you in the way to look. So if YouTube wants you to be interested in Freemasonry, maybe I can give you some answers as to any questions you may have. I don't know if you were the one who just answered the poll question. We have 3 votes. Could stonemasonry predate humans? 3 votes, all for yes. So let me know also why you answered yes to that one. But yeah, a Google account, by all means, let me know what it is you want to chat about. I guess I'm happy that YouTube is recommending me. That's very good. Also, That doesn't mean we just have to discuss this topic. Could stonemasonry predate humans? We can talk about anything that anybody's interested in talking about. That's the really fun thing about these live streams. We've had some interesting conversations. We've talked about scary movies because I love them. We talked about professional wrestling because I love that as well. But like I said, I think the focus is going to be on Freemasonry. And today, could stonemasonry predate humans? How do you define stonemasonry? That's another interesting question. Is it just the forming of stone, or is it the forming of stone into walls and other structures? Because if you count it just as the forming of stone, then does Freemasonry date as far back as, say, 3.3 million years, when you had the very first stone tools being discovered, or the date to which the first stone tools, or the earliest stone tools that we have dated? Catalyst Vault, the greater intelligence knows all. Well, that's true. Oh, 4 votes. Customized predate humans. Yes. I mean, I assume by greater intelligence, you're speaking of perhaps supreme being, which to be a Freemason, you need to believe in a supreme being, though there are lots of different types. If you can let me know in the chat if you want to expand on that. Also, if possible, and we haven't done so, I'd appreciate it if you would subscribe to the channel and hit the like button. The more people subscribing and liking, the better it is. But in the or the more people will find it. But yeah, if you want to expand on that, do you mean the greater intelligence knows all in regard to could stonemasonry predate humans, or do you mean it more in a general sense, just not related to this topic per se? And also, I'm curious how you came across us, how you found us. I do really like to know that stuff when it comes to this channel. How are you finding me? Is YouTube recommending it? Are you searching for it? Are you finding us on social media? Oh, a Google account. Moving huge blocks before equipment done with wet sand or rollers. My favorite is how the giant pumice blocks get someplace. They float. Most people don't realize pumice. I never know how to pronounce that. Pumice. I know pumice is a floating rock. Yeah, no, I agree. I've never believed, for example, that, the pyramids or any of these grand structures were built by aliens or required any type of, technology that no longer exists, or specialized technology. I've never, I don't believe that. What I do believe, though, is stonemasonry. I take a more liberal view of what is stonemasonry. I don't think it's just the building of great structures. I think it's just the forming and shaping of stone, which is why I date stonemasonry as early as 3.3 million years ago, when the first stone tools were built, which kind of set the first standard for what would become Freemasonry, but stonemasonry, as well as was, a major impact in our evolution, both in terms of humans changing, realizing they could influence their environment in ways that other animals couldn't, as well as it created new opportunities for diet, because it allowed us to access more food and more types of food and different types of hunting. So I think that, in deference to that, I count the origins of stonemasonry, or I date stonemasonry to a time before humans, when it was our ancestors, Australopithecus afarensis. But let me know more, Google account. Like, are you interested in, you said above, apparently YouTube really wants me to be interested in Freemasonry. I don't know why. Did you also maybe mean that apparently YouTube really wants you to be interested in stonemasonry? Or is that something you've been interested in general? Um, but yeah, I mean, I think actually it was interesting because there was like an architectural engineer who was able to build Stonehenge in his backyard without any modern technology, or a replica of Stonehenge in his backyard, just to show that you didn't need like aliens or some type of specialized whatever. You could just build it yourself. I thought that was really interesting. So yeah. But I did not know that pumice was a floating rock either. So that's really cool. Thank you for sharing that. Oh, we got 5 votes. Four saying yes, one saying no. So same question. To the person who said no, why did you say no? What were your thoughts there? Um, Death Valley has these racing rocks. I think that's how they moved the Egyptian pyramid blocks, wet mud. There used to be water there. Now that's long gone. Ohio has a Stonehenge too. Yeah, well, I'm not sure if you mean like Ohio has a modern Stonehenge that like just somebody created, or Ohio has a ancient stone structure. But I did note a lot of times when we're thinking of, and Freemasonry as well, when Freemasonry is thinking of um, stonemasons, we tend to think of medieval Europe and guilds, as well as um, ancient Egypt tends to get brought up a lot. King Solomon's, okay, they're probably Neolithic. King Solomon's Temple. We tend to forget about first Mesoamerican stonemasonry, and I think particularly like the Aztec and Mayan culture, which had some incredibly advanced masonry techniques, stonemasonry techniques. So I think those oftentimes get overlooked. So including Neolithic in Neolithic stonework in Ohio. What is your theory of melted old stonework? How did that happen? Well, my suspicion is it was acid. Like, do you mean melted into? Because, like, for example, Hannibal, when he was crossing the Alps to attack Rome, the Second Punic War, I forget the dates of that now, he used vinegar to melt the rocks to allow him and his elephants to cross the Alps. I think that the Aztecs, for example, one thing that's been said about some of the Aztec cities is the stones are so well connected that you can't even get like a playing card between them. Their joints are so tight or so well done. And I think the same thing, the Aztecs probably used vinegar or some type of acid to melt the stone to allow them to be better enabled to connect with each other. I think melted stone, and that's not original to me. I saw that actually archaeologist who specializes in Mesoamerican cultures believe that the stoneworks were probably themselves melted together with acid, or melted to be smoothed to acid. They found Egyptian-looking drawings near the Grand Canyon someplace a while ago. Maybe that's why there's a banned entry area there. No, I don't. Well, okay, so my suspicion on that, it's kind of the same idea of the pyramids. Like, there's only so many different drawings that you can make. Like, if you're trying to express something, right? Like, people all look the same. Basically, a pyramid, which is a very sensible structure to try to build for a lot of different reasons, architecturally speaking. There's only so many ways to make a pyramid. There's only so many ideas that you can draw. So it doesn't shock me that you're going to have independent cultures. You're going to have cultures that are separated by, time or by distance, independently coming up with the same conclusions or making the same types of drawings. I mean, that's always kind of been the case. So I don't necessarily believe that there's anything special about that. Catalyst Vault, Ohio Stonehenge is a wood henge. I don't know anything about it. I'm going to go to Google quickly to check this out because I'm curious. Let me see. Ohio Stone. Well, okay, so Ohio Stonehenge, which I guess is by Woodcrest. Wooden Stonehenge emerges from prehistoric Ohio. I'm going to share the screen in a second. Just got back from shopping. Sometimes I feel if I was the first The first Freemason. You're not that old, Dad, but I'm happy that you're here. Welcome. We had some people asking about you. Um, let's see. I'm going to share this screen in just 1 second. All right, we're sharing the screen right now. And emerges from prehistoric Ohio. Oh, no. So this one, it does look like it's wooden. Just northeast of Cincinnati, Ohio, a sort of wooden Stonehenge is slowly emerging as archaeologists unearth increasing evidence of a 2,000-year-old ceremonial site. So that one looks like it's made out of wood. A Google count. Nah, there's stone with round underground basement. Nobody knows who built it. It's definitely pre-1700. Well, yeah, I mean, people 12,000 years or something like that. By the way, if everybody watching this, if you would be so kind as to hit the like button and hit the subscribe button, the more subscribers we get to this podcast, the better other people can find it. It's great to see so many people. We got 10 votes. Could stonemasonry predate humans? 7 people say yes, 3 people say no. So thank you so much for all the votes. Hoping we get a couple more people watching, but please like and subscribe. Freemason building Stonehenge in England. Well, so stonemasons built Stonehenge in England. The Ohio Woodhenge is being credited to Native Americans bringing the builder. Not the same one. There's a different one near Cincinnati that's been fenced off. It's super weird. Well, Jay, thank you so much for joining us, by the way. I hope, Jay, that you'll hit the like and subscribe buttons if you're not subscribed. Same thing with a Google account. Hit the like and subscribe button. Cincinnati. Let me see if I can Google search this one. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Let's see. It's like Cincinnati. I'm gonna go Cincinnati Stonehenge. Cincinnati. Oops, I just spelled that wrong. Okay, so Cincinnati's own Stonehenge in Burnett Woods. Got this here. Let's see. In Burnett Woods. Let me just share this screen for a second. Once again, everybody watching, thank you so much for watching. Hope you hit the like button and subscribe button. That really helps other people find it. And let me know what you think. Could stonemasonry predate humans? Which is obviously very important because stonemasonry is the literal predecessor of Freemasonry. His own Stonehenge. Have you ever noticed this Stonehenge-like structure in Burnett Woods? If this looks like it may be a memorial to a long-ago building, it is. These granite blocks are what's left of the Cincinnati Chambers of Commerce, dedicated by the esteemed architect H.H. Richardson and destroyed by a 1911 fire. That's kind of interesting. That's a fun thing about these streams is that hopefully other people, you find out stuff you didn't know before. I didn't know anything about this stone Cincinnati having either a wooden Stonehenge or otherwise. Dad, let me know what you got for shopping. I hope it was good. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in and for subscribing and liking. And let me know also, anybody who answered the poll question, could stonemasonry predate humans? We've got 7 likes and 3 no's. Let me know why you answered the question. Either way, either the yes or the no. If you said yes, what were your thoughts? And if you said no, what were your thoughts? I'd love to know more about kind of, again, where that is coming from. I said yes because I believe that stonemasonry, if you define it as the shaping of stones, could date as early as 3.3 million years ago with our ancestors, Australopithecus afarensis, our evolutionary ancestors. 11 votes. 73% yes, 27% no. So thank you so much again to everybody who's taking part in these votes. And let me know, why are you answering it the way you are? Why'd you say yes or why'd you say no? Jay Pember, the henge in Ohio was nominated a while ago for UNESCO Heritage Designation. Do you know if it got it? Just out of curiosity? I'd be really curious to know if it actually received its designation or not. I mean, I guess I hope it did, because I think that'd be awesome. UNESCO Heritage Designations. Let me check. Again, we're going to use the Google machine, the friendly robots in Google. Ohio Stonehenge. Oh, looks like so right now it looks like there's just the one, and it's not the Stonehenge, but that doesn't mean they won't get it yet. No idea. I was just looking for that. Well, it looks like it wasn't yet. Is the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks, which is Ohio's. I'm going to share this tab instead. Or maybe it was, but this looks like it was kind of a Stonehenge-ish thing. Ohio's only UNESCO World Heritage Site. Thank you for everybody joining in. 13 votes. Could stonemasonry predate humans? 69% yes, 31% no, 14 votes. Let me know in the chat why you're voting the way you're voting. Do you think it does or does not predate humans, and potentially why you think that way? Just groceries. The Stonehenge in England is supposed to align with the star and solstice, etc. Yes, it is. It was the first calendar, I think, is what a lot of people would argue. Ohio's only UNESCO World Heritage Site, masterpiece of human creative genius. The Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks are gigantic earthen enclosures built by American Indians 2,000 years ago. They were places of ceremony connected to the cosmos by alignments to key risings and settings of the moon and sun. Might be worth checking that out one day. I love to travel. I consider myself a professional traveler, so maybe one day I will check that out. Moses Kimathi, welcome. Moses, before I go any further, I hope you'll hit the like button and subscribe button. You asked, how will I join? I assume when you ask that, you mean, how will I join Freemasonry? Hold on just 1 second. I'm going to stop sharing. Joe Archuleta, who built then if humans did not? So Moses, I hope you don't mind. I'm going to answer Joe's question first, but I promise I'm not going to forget about your question. Just give me 2 seconds, because I do want to get to Joe's first, because that's going to be a relatively quick answer. Both are quick answers. I just got to give me a couple more seconds. Here it is. All right. So if we count stonemasonry as the craft of shaping or arranging stones, which I do, I think that's the best definition for it, then I would use, and hope you guys can see this. Let me know if it pops up on the screen. You'll see your stone tools, which is stone that has been shaped and even arranged in some cases, found from 2011 to 2014 at the Lomquist site near Lake Turkana in Kenya, are dated to be 3.3 million years old and predate the genus Homo by about 1 million years. So that's our genus, right? The oldest known fossil of Homo genus is around 2.4 million years old compared to the 3.3 million year old stone tools. The stone tools may have been made by Australopithecus afarensis, which is not human, but one of our evolutionary ancestors. So that's how I feel. Sorry, Moses, I didn't forget about you. So when you say, how do I join this? Do you mean, how do you join Freemasonry? Or how do you join just the Square and Compass Promotions YouTube channel? Because for that, all you have to do is hit the subscribe button. And, you can like some videos. You can follow us on Medium. All that type of stuff is really great and really appreciated. Now, in terms of how do you join Freemasonry, it's the old answer. It's kind of a lazy answer, but it's true. To be one, ask one. If there are, you have to basically find a Masonic lodge or Masonic building that is close to you. Most towns have one, hopefully. And if your town does, you can do like I did and write a letter and just say you're interested in joining Freemasonry, why you're interested in joining Freemasonry, and your contact information, and then a representative of the lodge will eventually get back to you. Depending how busy they are, it can take some time. And you kind of go from there. You have to be, so there is an order of women Freemasons. There is also youth groups for both men and women in Freemasonry, and there's also Eastern Star, which is for men and women. But to join, for lack of a better term, typical Freemasonry, you have to be a man, you have to be over 21 years of age, and you have to believe in a supreme being. And then you can more discussions there, and a lot of it is just talking with whoever is around you, or to again, to be one, ask one. Just write a letter. The application process nowadays, especially, usually involves going to a few dinners or barbecues, or just getting to know the guys that you'll be joining in lodge, because that's really the most important thing. I think oftentimes when people first become interested in joining, they kind of become obsessed with this idea of like wanting to learn everything about Freemasonry and its history and its mysteries. That stuff is really, really not that important. Early on, the most important thing is just getting to know the people that you'll be spending time with in lodge. That's more important. If you enjoy their company and you like them, you're going to be okay. And you're going to find yourself, you're going to find, how should I put this? If you like the people and you get along with them well, based on your meetings with them, then you're going to have a really successful time in lodge. If you don't like the people, then really all the learning and stuff you do is not going to matter. So I hope, Moses, that answers your question. Again, if your question is just how to join this, as in how to join the YouTube channel, just hit the subscribe button and you're kind of all set. Joe Archuleta. So your answer is basically a monkey-human hybrid. I mean, I guess if you want to put it that way, I mean, Australopithecus afarensis wasn't really a monkey-human hybrid. It was its own species, which predates humans. I do believe in evolution. I know not everybody does, I guess, but I do. I'm going to put down evolutionary chart, human beings. I'm going to see if I can find maybe an image I can share on this YouTube channel to show us where Australopithecus is. Oh, maybe this will work. Or actually, no, this would have been a better image here. Let me go to this image. It's kind of being slow, but in a second. But I wouldn't describe it. Ardipithecines could also be an option. I don't know what that is, Jay. If you could let me know. Jump onto this chart if it would ever pop. Oh, here it is. All right, so let's see if I can share this screen. Welcome everybody who's joining us. By the way, please hit the like button and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate both a like and a subscribe. That helps other people find this channel, which would be much appreciated. All right, so a close relative, but both are 4 million plus years back in the timeline. Very cool. I did not know that. Thank you so much for letting me know. I'm trying to share this thing. It's not going well. Let me give it another second. Oh, all right. Let me know if you guys can see that. Lucy, 4.2 million years old. Yes, Lucy is the most famous example of an Australopithecus afarensis right there. And then here we are up here. And here is our ancestor, and here is Ardipithecus ramicus. So that's kind of when potentially, I think, originated, in my humble opinion. And so that would predate human beings. But yeah, Lucy is 4.2 million years old. To my knowledge, she is the oldest of the, or the most famous Australopithecus afarensis fossil. But so yeah, so that's my opinion. But then it goes on to the question of how do you define stonemasonry? Do you define stonemasonry as just the forming of stones and rocks, in which case I think you'd have to count stone tools, or do you count it specifically as the masonry part, as not just forming the stones, but joining them together with mortar, creating walls, not even with mortar per se, but creating walls, columns, things of that nature? Let me know what you guys think in the chat. How do you define stonemasonry? And depending on your definition, I think that's going to go a long way into answering this question of could stonemasonry predate humans? Because, you know, it's interesting. You can go back kind of really far. Like, I kind of do this thing on Medium, which I'm going to just pull up in just 1 second. Oh, we got 15 votes. 60% say yes, stonemasonry predates humans. 40% say no, stonemasonry does not predate humans. So thank you so much for everybody answering the questions. If you're just joining us and you're just answering, please jump in the chat and let me know why you answered the way you did. And if you could please hit the like and subscribe button. But going back to my Medium article, you know, I thought it was really fun because, oh, just give me 1 second, guys. I'll be back in just 1 sec. Don't run too far. I just got to answer some questions or just got to knock on the door. But I'll be right back. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm back. So, yeah, hope you don't mind looking back to just looking at my cabinets right now. But we are still asking the question, could stonemasonry predate humans? And based on some of these questions, right? So, Freemasonry traces its literal origins to the stonemason guilds of medieval Europe. That dates between 600 and 1500 AD. But then you can go back to the figurative origins, right? The building of King Solomon's Temple and the stonemasons employed therein. That dates to approximately 950 BC. But we can go back to an even earlier age. Freemasonry traces its usages and customs to ancient Egyptian stonemasons, which date between 2600 and 2500 BC. We can go back to an even earlier age, though, but before I do, what proof is left that they build pre-human stone structures, or are you saying they use stone tools in their lifestyle? Yeah, so I don't believe any prehistoric human ancestors, from an evolutionary perspective, built stone structures. The closest might be um, Neanderthals, which were contemporaneous to modern humans, which I know they buried their dead, and I believe they built kind of mounds, not out of stone necessarily, but I I do think that they used stone tools in their lifestyle, right? So that the stone tools they used, I would count as shaping of stones, which is the origins of stonemasonry, because it's a pretty easy jump from, not easy, I should say, it took millions of years, but the natural evolution starts with stone tools and then goes on to stone structures. Sorry, guys, just give me one moment. So yeah, so I think that's the kind of proof that they left behind, and I think to me, stone tools are pretty like it's so integral in the formation of what it was to be human that I think it's fair to count it as the origins of stonemasonry. By the way, guys, if you're just joining us, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. That would be really helpful in terms of this live stream and getting out to more people. They are doing some work on my cabinets in the background, so I hope you'll forgive that. But the contractor can only be here when he can be here, and it's still been a great time talking with everybody here who's joining us. So hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. Answer the question: could stonemasonry predate humans? So, I think the earliest stone structures, they all date to, again, Homo sapien, wise man, modern humans, with potentially the exception of Neanderthals, which date to, they're contemporaneous to modern humans, but they all are also in prehistory. So Joe, let me know if that answered that question. Oh, 16 votes. Yes, 62%. No, 38%. Could stonemasonry predate humans? So yeah, thank you guys for answering the question. Let me know in the chat why you're answering the question the way you did, yes or no. Hit the like and subscribe button. And also, once again, hope you guys don't mind the construction or the restoration work happening behind me, but got to get these cabinets fixed at some point. So now is the time to do it. It's great to see also 16 votes from people in this poll question. But again, if you keep going back, so and the thing about the creation of stone structure or stone tools and using stone tools in their lifestyle is not only was it a major step from an intellectual perspective, but also in terms of diet. It allowed people it allowed even our ancestors, Australopithecus, a whole new set of diet and hunting and what they could eat and couldn't eat, which obviously, as your diet changes, your energy changes, your capacity changes, and your ability to evolve grows. I suppose the contractors are carpenters, not masons. Yeah, they're not masons or carpenters, but it's all in the same category of working with your hands, which God knows I can't do. I can't build anything to save my life. Back in the day, I was taught in school Lucy was the first human. Yeah, that's what I was taught too. I mean, for all practical purposes, she was the first human, right? Like there's obviously a million, or not a million. There's a lot of humans around at the same time as her, but to my knowledge, she's the oldest human we have on record. It was funny, actually. One of my favorite TV shows, Battlestar Galactica, she popped up. At the end, Lucy was the human Cylon child that was featured in Battlestar Galactica in the remake. Anybody who watches Battlestar Galactica, if you know that reference, let me know. Bong, James Bong, hello and God bless from West Kentucky, y'all. West Kentucky, I love Kentucky. I've had the pleasure of being in Kentucky on a few occasions. Let me know, Bong, if you don't mind, or James, I'm going to call you. Let me know if you are a Freemason. If you're not, if you have any questions, we love to chat about Freemasonry here on the channel. Also, if you answered the question, could stonemasonry predate humans? Let me know how you answered, yes or no, and why you answered. Also, as I'm always saying, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. That stuff helps a lot with other people finding us. But no, I absolutely love Kentucky. I have had the pleasure of being in Paducah, Kentucky, and Lexington, Kentucky, for some really, really awesome events. So I love being there. The Bluegrass State. I've also had a bunch of interviews with Kentucky Masons over the years. And that was a lot of fun as well and really special. So I love Kentucky. I love all the places I've been to in the States. I think I actually even wrote about that on Medium. Let me just see if I did, and maybe I'll share the link. And James, maybe if you haven't found me on Medium yet, you can check it out because there's some really cool stuff there, which I've written about Medium. I think I wrote Freemasonry in the Bluegrass State, something to that effect. Let me see if I can find it. I'm still talking because if I stop talking, it affects retention, but I do. Oh, here it is. No, Bourbon and Cigars and Shrine, not quite. Here it is, Raising Barns, Freemasonry in the Bluegrass State. I had the pleasure of going to a barn raising in Paducah, Kentucky. All right, there's the Medium article. I didn't get a chance to vote. I just popped in, and yes, I'm a traveling man. Well, now's your chance to vote. So hope you vote on the question. Do you think stonemasonry predates humans? Yes or no? New subscriber, thank you so much for that as well. I truly do appreciate that. And check out the link I just left if you want to learn more about my experiences in Kentucky, traveling as a Mason. I've been a Mason since 2007, and I've enjoyed every moment of it, more or less. Some, are more enjoyable than others, but I've had the chance to attend the round table, or the oh my God, I can't even think of what it's called now. Outside the barn raising, the festive board of Rubicon Masonic Society in Lexington, which was absolutely amazing and a really, really beautiful spot. And then, like I said, Paducah, Kentucky, for their barn raising, which is where they did a 3rd degree. Oh, it's not. I'm not sure why. It should be still open. I try not to end the poll. Well, let me just even know in the chat. Do you think that stonemasonry predates, or could stonemasonry predate humans? Yes or no? Let me know in the chat what you're thinking. I'm not sure why it was closed. Yes, I know Paducah very well. It is a very nice area. Very, very cool spot. Interesting spot because I guess they have like their big yarn festival there every year or something to that effect. I don't really know exactly what it's about, but I guess that because they have the big barn festival, um, it affects kind of all the different things. Like I guess it's a real for the economics of the town. They have a ton of people coming in, so that's why. Like when I stayed there, I was impressed or surprised even with for a small town the number of hotels that they had and restaurants. But it was a really cool spot. No, Paducah is really nice, and again, the barn raising was absolutely awesome. So I write about it in Raising Barns. I think I have some pictures of it on Instagram. Let's see if I can maybe find some of those pictures. Um, and yeah, everybody who's joining us, by all means, please keep letting me know. What do you think of the question? Could stonemasonry predate humans? Yes or no? Yes, 65%. No, 35%. Let me know kind of why you answer the question that way, what your thoughts are. Let me see if I can find my pictures of Kentucky. I'm going to go to um, YouTube, or going to go to Facebook, I should say. Um, and then I will put in the search Paducah. But we got 20 votes. Let me know why. And Dong, oh, as a Mason, are you taught about the Chamber of Reflection, original location? I would say no. I think there needs to be humans for there to be humans working stones. Okay, so that brings up the question as to how do you define stonemasonry? Because I think that the key there is that phrase, working stones. So I, for example, and I'm taking a pretty broad definition, I would say working stones is could be defined as or include the building or the creation of stone tools. And if I could pop this up, I'm going to share the screen in just 1 second. Excuse me. Let's see. Still going to share the screen here. So you guys can see this. It can sometimes take a second for it to pop up. But this is from Wikipedia. I know it's not the best source, but I have looked at other sources to confirm this. Stone tools found from 2011 to 2014 at the Lomkwi archaeology site near Lake Turkana in Kenya are dated to 3.3 million years old and predate the genus Homo, which is our genus, by about 1 million years. The oldest known genus Homo fossil is 2.4 to 2.3 million years old, compared to 3.3 million year old stone tools. The stone tools may have been made by Australopithecus afarensis. This afarensis existed at least a few million years before Homo sapiens, or modern humans, wise man or wise ape as it's called. So if you're talking about working stones, and if you want to count working stones as in creating stone tools, which I do, I would say that stonemasonry does in fact predate humans. As a Mason, are you taught about the Chamber of Reflection, original location, the Great Pyramid of Egypt? So yes, many lodges actually engage in a Chamber of Reflection and will have a space set aside, the purpose of which being for reflection. Kind of connected to that idea. James, it can predate modern humans, which wasn't included in the question. All right. Well, okay. I guess I should say modern humans. Although I will say, for the record, Australopithecus wasn't human of any sort, modern or otherwise. It was a whole separate species, kind of similar to Australopithecus forensis. So I think that's kind of a really interesting point to keep in mind as well. But all right, fair enough. Fair enough, James. I'm going to see in the meantime, though, if I can go to my Facebook and find my old pictures of, let's see, find my pictures from my time in Kentucky, in Paducah particularly. Let's see if I can track it down. Thank you, everybody, for joining in. We've had actually a really great turnout for this chat so far, and it's been incredible. So I really do appreciate it. Please, if you guys can, hit the like button and the subscribe button. I do really want to share. Let's see if I can find it. We're going to search on here for Kentucky. Let's see. I'm going to go most recent. I'm going to see if I can share all of my past travels to Kentucky and all the fun I've had there, and also all of my podcast interviews. So give me 1 second. In the meantime, though, keep answering the poll question, keep hitting the like and subscribe button. All that stuff helps out huge with this, and I really would appreciate it. So I know it's going to take a few seconds to load up usually. I hope you guys can see it now. If you can't, let me know. But so here's an episode I did, episode 167 of the Square and Compass podcast about the 12th annual Festive Board and Masonic Conference at the Rubicon Society. Which again, great Kentucky brothers. Kosar Shriners in Louisville, Kentucky, we talked about. You can find some pictures. Bourbon and cigars, good Kentucky combination. Just seeing if I can find pictures of the barn where I took part in the barn raising. Oh, but this is being super slow. I love the exposed brick you always see in Lexington. I think that's really cool. Here's me on a trip to Lexington. I love the view out the bus. Let's see. Oh. Rubicon Society's Festive Board 2023 at Spindletop Hall. Let me know, James, if you have been to Spindletop Hall before. Most Worshipful Brother James Gibson of the Grand Lodge. He was a really cool dude. Worshipful Brother Brian Evans. Still trying to track down the picture of the barn where I took part in the barn raising. Well, I mean, we could go into all the different species that created tools before modern man. Yeah, so the question is, do you think that creation of tools counts as stonemasonry? Because the stonemasonry idea, right? Some people would say stonemasonry, for it to exist, has to be not just forming of stone, using Kentucky, I forgot about all these, but also the putting stones together, right? Stones, mortar, bricks, things of that nature, right? Or do you think that stonemasonry could count as just the forming of stones or working of stones into stone tools? Or like combining stone tools with wood, so for example, creating arrows, or is it actually joining two stones together? Can't find it there. I'm going to try Paducah. See if Paducah pops up when I go, because I know I've got pictures of the barn on social media. Oh, here it is. Raised in a barn. This is the interior of the barn raising I took part in. I've said before, hope you guys can see it, one of my favorite Masonic memories of all time is being in the 3rd degree and seeing the hearing, I should say, the sound of rain as it hit the tin roof at the Masonic during the. So yeah, I'm going to stop sharing, but it's been great to see all the people who've joined us so far. Thank you guys so much. Early homonyms. No, yeah, I agree. There was a lot of them, right? I forget the date of the earliest human. Again, Lucy, kind of Australopithecus. As a Mason, are you taught about the Phoenix cycle? Could you elaborate? I've never heard of the Phoenix cycle, so I'm not sure exactly what that means. I'm not sure if you can maybe share with us what that might mean. Like I know the idea of dying and rebirth and kind of what that means. And we're taught about some of those ideas and the idea of being reborn and those type of cycles. I don't know if that is potentially what you mean by that. But I've never heard anything about like a Phoenix cycle specifically. I'd love it if you could elaborate, and maybe we call it something different. Because don't forget, I am here in Canada, in Ontario. Different Masonic lodges and bodies do have slightly differences in ritual, and the teachings are the same, but the ritual can be different. The words can be different. The terms can be different. So let me know though what. Like I said, let me know maybe what you mean by Phoenix cycle. When I hear Phoenix cycle, I think of ideas of being reborn. So let me know what you mean by that. And we are taught kind of a general idea about birth and rebirth. The 2012 Olympics opening and closing end with the coming of the Phoenix. No, so yeah, I'm not sure much about that. I don't recall anything regarding the 2012 Olympics opening and closing ceremonies. But I will look that up. I do plan to do more of these live streams, so maybe that's something I can talk about tomorrow. I'll make sure to search the idea of the Phoenix cycle. I mean, I could even maybe look it up here. Oops, stuff is falling. Let me give me 1 second. I'm just going to typing into Google right now the Phoenix cycle. Well, actually, it looks like there's a bunch of books. What is the cycle of the Phoenix? Looks like there's a book called Gauntlet, the Phoenix Cycle, Book 1 by John G. Doyle. Waiting for that to load. But no, I don't know much more about that. Hominis Masonlins. It would be, what would you call us? Australopithecus Masonicus. That's what I'm going to go with. That's what we should call ourselves. Australopithecus Masonicus. I'm going to see if I can write that down. By the way, everybody just joining us, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. Doing both of those things really, really helps other people find us. Share the live stream if you can on your socials, social media, etc., etc. That works. LOL. All right, well, there you go. So I guess that works. No worries. So that's what we'll do. That's what we'll call ourselves. But yeah, the more shares we get, the better off this can be. Let me know how you guys are doing otherwise. And again, the question we're asking today is, could stonemasonry predate humans? But I'm happy to talk about anything else that you guys want to chat about as well. The most fun thing about these podcasts is the number of different topics we can discuss at any given point in time. That's the thing I love the most about doing it. So by all means, please both stick around and ask any questions you want. If anybody knows anything about the Phoenix cycle, let me know as well in the chat. Like I said, I found some books about it. Looks like some books about time travel. But Yeah, according to Greek tradition. Oh, so okay, here it is. What is the cycle of the phoenix? I'm going to share my screen again. Um, I hope you guys can see it in just 1 second. Takes a second for it to pop up. I hope that you guys can see the screen. If you can't, let me lives for 500 years, and only one phoenix is alive at a time. Ashes, a young phoenix is born. Symbols associated with the creature include fire, ashes, renewal, and resurrection. I hope, Joe, that kind of is what you were talking about. Like I said, Freemasonry and a lot of groups have ideas similar to this of fire, ash, renewal, and resurrection. But yeah, let me know what you're thinking potentially. Um, if that's what you mean by that. Also, appreciate everybody who's taken the time to leave some reactions. And like I said, if you're just joining us, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share us on social media, let your friends know. The more people we have joining us, the better. And answer the question, do you think or could stonemasonry predate humans? It's going to take a moment if you guys don't mind. It's got to invite somebody. Um, just to say hi, because it'd be great to have a few more people joining us. As always, the more people joining us, the more I enjoy it. And speculative masonry. Yeah, well, so the thing I love about speculative masonry, well, if you mean speculative in terms of we're speculating right now, then I guess that counts. We are doing a lot of speculation right now, which is kind of fun. But if you're talking about speculative masonry, as in kind of what I am, what we are as Freemasons, the type that we practice, then I think yes, but I think speculative masonry owes a great deal to operative masonry. And again, the interesting question is how far back does operative masonry go? I think that's a fascinating question. The Mayan calendar has a long count of 144,000 days. The phoenix is rebirthed in this cycle of 1,444,000. That's yeah, I guess. I mean, I think so many cultures develop this idea of renewal and time period wise, like everybody kind of understood there's a order to the universe, an order to the, I wouldn't even say to the universe, an order to the solar system, to the sun and the moon, and you kind of figure out cycles. And like a season is a season and a day is roughly a day wherever you live, and you kind of develop the same patterns for timekeeping based on that. There's minute differences here and there, but nothing major. um But I remember the Mayan calendar. There's this whole talk about like 2012, the end of the world, which it wasn't, obviously. Um, all the people doomsday prepping were probably pretty disappointed about that fact that it wasn't the actual end of the world, I'm sure. Um, but yeah, the evolution of Freemasonry from its roots. Absolutely. And then how far back do you want to take those roots, I think that's the ultimate question and the really fun question. How far back do these roots go when it comes to Freemasonry? How far back do the roots go in general, the other interesting question, though, James, and I'm curious as to what you might think of this, and anybody else in the chat, let me know. So we say, could stonemasonry predate humans? I think most people, including myself, maybe when I first asked the questions, we were thinking of that question in terms of um, Earth. But the universe is 14 billion years old, potentially significantly older. Um, Maybe on another planet, which also had stone, there might have been another species that developed stonemasonry. At least, for a time, and maybe they're still out there and we just haven't found them yet because the universe is so big. Maybe they no longer exist. Maybe that species destroyed itself, and hopefully we don't follow in the same path. But, if another species were to evolve on a planet separate from us, if that planet were to have stones, who knows? Maybe that planet would also have stonemasonry. I think it's an interesting question to ask myself. That brings up, could Freemasonry exist on other planets? How similar would the evolution be? The end of the Mayan calendar, 2012, was the start date of this Mayan cycle, not the end of the world. Yeah, that makes sense. I would have been pretty surprised if the world had ended in 2012, put it that way. And it makes sense to me that the Mayans wouldn't, like, there's only so long you're going to count and you're going to have your cycle be, right? 700 years into the future is pretty impressive. Is impressive enough, I don't think, or even more than that. What the Mayans went to, 572? There's only so long you need to keep counting, in my humble opinion. One more vote came in. Could stonemasonry predate humans? Yes, 68%. No, 32%, with 22 votes. If you're voting, if you could take a moment and let me know in the chat why you voted the way you voted, yes or no, I'd appreciate it. Also, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. All of that stuff helps other people find us. Hit the, share it with other people. I'd really appreciate it. There's a belief that Mars once could have hosted life. That being hundreds of millions of years ago, even into 1 billion years ago. Well, yeah, I think certainly my suspicion when it comes to life on other planets, and this is just me talking out of my butt, so take everything I'm saying with a massive grain of salt. I suspect there's probably amoeba, bacteria, single-celled organisms that have existed on other planets. I think maybe that could even be as far into, as existing on Europa, for example. I don't necessarily think or believe that necessarily intelligent life has existed anywhere else. Now, it could, and that intelligent life could have predated us and could have developed some type of stonemasonry on another planet, but I don't believe so. But it is an interesting idea. Tracer Doc 1. While there are thoughts that there might have been advanced civilizations that predate modern humans, if the Dark Ages wiped out large amounts of knowledge, imagine a cataclysm. All right. So first of all, Tracer, thank you so much for joining us in the chat. If you could hit the like and subscribe buttons, I'd really appreciate it, and vote on the poll. For my question, could stonemasonry predate humans? My suspicion is, my answer was yes, and I'm basing that not on an advanced civilization, but rather on the idea of Australopithecus, of ancient ancestors to modern humans, Australopithecus afarensis, the evolutionary tree, and the development of stone tools, which is the forming and shaping of stone, which I think is really, really important. Step in evolution, and also, to my mind, that is the start of stonemasonry, which would then make it predate humans. If there was an advanced civilization that predates modern humans, but that was itself human beings that just got wiped out and then had to kind of start from scratch again, I guess that wouldn't really predate humans per se. But I do know there are some who have beliefs that, like, I don't subscribe to them myself, but like Graham Hancock, for example, believes in a pre-Ice Age civilization. I don't know a lot about what he's saying. I personally don't buy that myself, but that's not to say it's not a really interesting idea. But that's kind of where I'm coming from with it. Tracer Doc, if you don't mind me asking, there's also a belief that the Earth was on its second or third time around. So who knows what existed and was completely destroyed and started over again. Yeah, I don't know if you mean by that, like civilizations advance, wipe themselves out, then re-advance. I mean, if I recall correctly, the Earth is about 4 billion years old. I think, if I recall correctly, based on what I read, life itself came relatively quickly after that, but it stayed a single-celled life for a very, very long time. Then we got dinosaurs for a very, very long time, but none of them, how long did dinosaurs exist without even bothering to create a smartphone? I think humans are the first time around as being like an intelligent civilization, if that makes any sense. That's just my suspicion. I could be wrong. But yeah. Tracer, let me know. Oh, we got 23 votes. Yes, 65. No, 35. Could stonemasonry predate humans? A lot of people saying yes, which is very interesting. Oh, so you mean like meteor new? I mean, I think, yeah, but I don't know if humans. But yeah, I mean, I definitely think there's been certainly the dinosaurs, right? There's been plenty of times when there's been some type of cataclysmic event that's wiped out large portions of the planet and what was on the planet. So it's always possible there's something we don't know, which is a very interesting thing. Joe Archuleta, the phoenix is a symbol for the end of the Mayan calendar, to which the sun starts. Just like the ending or the end screen of the ending of the 2012 Olympics. I'm going to look that up. Definitely look up the ending of the 2012 Olympics, because it's not something I know very much about. So I'd love to learn more about it. I'll check it out. Tracer Doc, let me know if you're a Mason yourself. If not, if you're interested in Freemasonry. Obviously, the purpose of this live stream or Square and Compass promotions is we talk about Freemasonry. But that doesn't mean that's all we talk about. I love chatting about other things I love, like scary movies, which is my favorite, my other favorite thing in the world is professional wrestling. But today we're talking about Freemasonry and its origins with stonemasonry. And so, Tracer Doc, I'd love to know if you're a Mason. If you're not, do you have any questions about Freemasonry? Also, be curious, did we just pop up on your feed, or how did you find us? I always like to know that as well, so I can know kind of where to focus my energies. This is all old Mason history. Absolutely. My lodge is having its first meeting as a joint. So amalgamated, I'm guessing, lodge tonight. I've been pretty inactive. I think it's funny, we talked about cycles a second ago. Oh, are you from Glenview? I absolutely love Glenview. It is, I would consider it my second home. Second Masonic home. I've actually written a lot of stuff about it. Hold on just one second. I'm happy that Google's recommending me as well. The Windsor Masonic Temple is such a cool spot. So I'm just trying to pull up onto Evans 524. I'm trying to think where Evans meets. That's in Illinois, though, right? I mean, come on. Computer's being really slow right now. I hope that you guys are being able to see everything okay, because my computer is kind of being a pain in the butt. I'm just going to Medium. I'm going to share with you guys my Um, oh, Wilmette. Okay. All right. So yeah, so I know where Wilmette is. I know it's not too close to Glenview, but I think they might meet at the Glenview Masonic Temple. Um, autocorrect. No worries. Well, I hope that, yeah, we used to, that's right. Yeah. So I'm just going to see, this is taking a while, but I'm going to see if I can pull it up and share it because I do want to share it with you guys so you can check it out. But I would consider Glenview a created home of mine for sure. And I wish you the best of luck on your amalgamation. I'm sure a lot of people there might know me. If you say the guy in the wheelchair, Cameron, they might remember me, the guy from Canada. So let me know. Oh, hey, I heard the best JW lecture I've ever heard in 9 years of being a Mason. Awesome. Yeah, it's funny how you can hear the same lecture a million times and it doesn't ever really affect you one way or the other. But sometimes it's just the way they deliver the lecture or the feeling by which they, the feeling that they deliver it with, um, that can be really, really special. So congratulations on your amalgamation. Hey, I was wondering, oops, I'm just gonna share this link. Is Glenview Masonic Temple or Glenview Lodge doing anything for Thanksgiving or any of the lodges there that you know of? Because I was thinking maybe coming back to visit for Thanksgiving, and maybe visiting the lodge again, my home away from home. But I'm happy, Jay, that you heard the best JW lecture you've ever heard in 9 years of being a Mason. And Joe, the Phoenix is the many reason for stone buildings and is the cornerstone for pyramid construction. Interesting. I never heard that before. I'd love to, if you could expand on that a little bit, because like I said, I don't think I've ever heard that before. Oxford Lodge, it was amazing. He spoke to everyone with passion. Very cool. Thank you so much for sharing that. Um, I'm not sure. I've been so inactive. It's time to get back. I let life keep me away from the craft. Well, at least you're getting back into it, right? So that's what matters. That's a really important thing. I'm happy that you're getting back. I'm sure they're going to be happy as well. If they do anything for Thanksgiving and you want to let me know, I'd appreciate it. That would be great to know about. And also, if you want to learn more about my views on Glenview and Chicago, hit that link I put to Medium, and you can read all about my love of Glenview and all my experiences there. Egypt has a temple of the Phoenix. Yes, I don't know much about it, but I know that they do. I should know more because, again, our usages and customs have ever corresponded. If anybody is just joining us for the first time, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We've got a great number of people who've checked us out so far. This has been definitely one of my more successful live streams. 106 people, I think, have joined us here all together. And so I really do appreciate everybody joining us. Still got time. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. We'll give it a little bit more time because, like I said, this has been going really well. Check out the links I've left in the description. I've even actually just started, Tracer, a YouTube channel dedicated to my trips to Glenview because I go there so much. I'm posting some of my trips there. So we have some more people joining us or rejoining us. Like I was saying, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. And let me know what it is you guys want to chat about. We're chatting today about stonemasonry, the origins of Freemasonry, and asking the question, could stonemasonry predate humans? 24 votes. Yes, 62%. No, 38%. Let me know in the chat how you answered and why you answered that way, and anything that you guys want to talk about. And thank you, everybody who has hit the 24 votes. Yeah, 62% yes, 32% no. But it doesn't just have to be about this question. It can be about anything you guys want to chat about when it comes to Freemasonry. And anything else you guys want to talk about as well. I'm always enjoy talking about lots of different subjects on this podcast and on these live streams. And it's great to see so many people watching. So yeah, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you'll excuse me, I got to get a drink. I've been talking so much. I'm very thirsty. Got some. So we've been talking a lot. I don't know if anybody's been following the chat, but the question of could stonemasonry predate humans has resulted in some really interesting debates and discussions around humans, modern humans. What is stonemasonry? Evolution. But we've also had people just joining the chat to talk about their questions about Freemasonry in general, their lodge experiences. I kind of feel like I kind of came back home in a way because I had somebody here who's going to be going to Glenview Masonic Lodge, or Glenview Masonic Temple, I should say, which again, I left something in the chat, but is one of my absolute favorite places. So I thought that was really, really cool to see somebody from there joining us. And I wish him the best of luck because I understand he's been away for a little while. That's something I think a lot of people, in my opinion, and it's unfortunate, if they're away for a while, they can kind of get nervous because they can start to feel like, I don't know what the word is. They can start to feel as though they've been gone for so long. Will they be welcome back? Will they remember the ritual? Will they remember the signs and the symbols? I mean, but I think the problem with that is if you get nervous about going back, and you say like, I'm going to go back next week. Well, then when you go back next week, you're not going to go back next week because you're going to be more nervous, right? The longer you wait, the more nervous you're going to be and the more your nerves are going to increase, which to me is kind of, defeats the purpose. You're better off, in my opinion, just to kind of bite the bullet. And even if you feel awkward the first time, that's fine. You're not going to feel awkward, the next time you go or the time you go after that, if that makes sense. So, don't skip school, as A to Z says. Yes, we understand how skipping school works. Well, then don't skip school, A to Z, or don't skip your Masonic lodges if you can help it. Obviously, life does get in the way. A to Z, if you would be so kind as to hit the like button and subscribe button, I would really appreciate it. That helps other people find this podcast and this live stream. But also, A to Z, let me know if you answered the poll question. Could stonemasonry predate humans? We've got yes at 60%, no at 40%. If you could let me know if you answered the poll question and why you answered it the way you did and how you answered it, I'd appreciate it. Tracer Doc, thank you. I needed to hear that. Yeah, no, I think it's just like I said, like just rip the Band-Aid off. First, it's not going to be as bad as you think. It never is, in my experience. It's never as bad as you think. And second, like, you're not going to be, if you want to go back but you're nervous, you're not going to do any better waiting till the next meeting. You're going to be just as nervous the next time, if not more so. And I'd bet money I know a lot of the guys that you're going to see, or at least I've sat and lodged with them. Like I said, if you want to bring fraternal greetings, here, I'll give you a little piece of Masonic advice if you want to take it. When you're traveling, to another lodge or visiting a lodge that where you're not a member, it's always a nice gesture at the end of the night to stand up, give the signs, and say, you know, I bring fraternal greetings on behalf of worshipful master so and so, or worshipful brother so and so, the worshipful master of such and such lodge, right? So I know you're going to a lodge tonight that's your home lodge, but it's not my home lodge. And since I can't visit in person, if you would be so kind, perhaps at the end of the night, you could get up and give fraternal greetings from Worshipful Brother Cameron Adamson, Worshipful Master of Border Cities Lodge number 554 in Windsor, Ontario, who has visited Glenview many times and loved it every single time. If you don't want to, you don't have to, but either way, just rip the Band-Aid off and go. It'll be a lot of fun. It'll be worth it. We suffer, what's the expression I really like? How would you guys know? The expression is, we suffer more in our minds than in reality. So 99% of the time, that thing that you're most nervous about is actually not a big deal at all. And your nervousness about it is only making things worse, in my humble opinion. So take that for whatever it's worth. And yeah, like I was saying, I do have my YouTube channel all about my trips to Glenview. I'm going to see if I can maybe share even that on the screen or in the chat. And maybe if people are interested, they could join us there as well, or subscribe to that channel as well, I should say. In the meantime, hope you guys have enjoying this chat. Please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, answer the poll question: could stonemasonry predate humans? We're going to be doing this again on Thursday for sure at 11:30 in the morning, 11:30 Eastern. I hope you guys will join us for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. It's been great to see the turnout. This has definitely been one of the higher turnouts I've had for the live stream, and that's been really awesome to see. So thank you so much. Got 10 people watching right now. Thank you so much. Please hit the like button, subscribe button. Subscribing really helps other people find this chat. 600-year Phoenix cycles are what the original Freemasons taught, and the start date of USA is 1776. Its half date is 2076, Return of the Phoenix cycle, which at the end 600-year Phoenix cycles are what the original so if you're talking about original Freemasons, do you mean the 1717 Freemasons from London, who did absolutely teach? They taught a lot of different cycles. I mean, they had a lot of different ideas about everything from alchemy to, it was kind of the Enlightenment age, right? Which, I mean, Ben Franklin, for example, was a scientist and kind of a Renaissance man in his own right. So I think, yeah, there's a lot of different teachings in Freemasonry that's really, really interesting, and the original Freemasons. But thank you everybody who's been joining us so far. I hope that you've been enjoying the live stream. Yes, 2012 Olympics was in London. London also being where Freemasonry, well, I mean, in my opinion, Freemasonry actually probably started in Scotland an earlier time than 1717, but 1717 is the date in London where you had the formation of the very first Grand Lodge. So I thought that's really cool. And I hope everybody has been enjoying this live stream so far. Please, like I said, answer the poll question, yes or no. Could stonemasonry predate humans? And we've still got plenty of time. I think that this chat has been going great. I've actually been loving it. So we'll keep it going for a little bit longer. Hopefully we get some other people joining in, or more people want to jump in the chat. Yeah, I kind of remember the 2012 Olympics a little bit, but not super well. But that might be worth looking up for sure. So 60% yes, 40% no. To the question, could stonemasonry predate humans? Also hope that you guys, if you get the chance, what are, hey, I appreciate that, A to Z, because that has kind of been the question we've been asking. What are humans? So I am defining humans as Homo sapiens. I don't define humans as, for example, Australopithecus afarensis, one of our ancestors, which was around a few million years, or at least a million years before Homo sapien. If that probably gives away my answer to the question, could stonemasonry predate humans? It's interesting. I asked the question on social media and didn't get any responses, but I'm getting a lot of responses here, which I really do appreciate. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to see if I can invite a few more people maybe to join us. But A to Z, I really do appreciate you asking that question, because I think that first of all, that shows lateral thinking. So good for you. But also, I think that shows kind of where I'm coming from with this idea. Thank you, everybody else, for joining us as well and being part of this live stream. Like I said, this has definitely been one of the best live streams I've had in terms of numbers. So thank you so much. Hopefully we can do this again on Thursday. On Thursday, we're going to have a live stream with my friend Nicholas Romita. I think then we're going to talk about Phoenix cycles. So I'm going to do some research about that, Joe, and ask more questions about Phoenix cycles, as well as talk about maybe the paranormal, because my friend Nicholas is heavily involved in the paranormal. But you're the first person, A to Z, to ask me that question, so thank you so much. If you could, I just been invited a few people, but if you want to get the chance and you can, I hope you guys will still jump in the chat, answer the poll question. Oh, we got 27 votes. Could stonemasonry predate humans? Yes, 59%. No, 41%. Nicholas Romita just joined. Nicholas, how's it going, sir? I am asking the question. Let me know if you want to answer the question. Could stonemasonry predate humans? And if it does, or if you think it does, let me know why you think it might. Oh, you must have an idea. You can say yes or no, or take a guess. I also been telling people that you're going to be joining us in the chat on or the live stream in person on Thursday. So I'll see you here at 10:15. We'll get the coffee like we always do, which is my favorite thing. And then from there, we will chat. We've had a great turnout so far in this live stream, so I'm hoping that this keeps going for the next live stream. By the way, if everybody could, and you get the chance, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. That helps us huge in terms of more people seeing this. If you're not liking and subscribing, please do so. Let me know how you came across this and found us as well. The more likes, the more subscriptions, the more all that stuff, it really does help. So thank you so much to everybody who's taken part so far. I do very much appreciate it. And to everybody who is taking part in the poll question and the chat as well. Oh, the quest. Can we talk numbers? Sure. You have to be more specific, though. To which numbers do you refer? Also, though, the quest. If you can hit like and subscribe, if you've not done so, I'd very, very much appreciate it. The more likes and the more people hit like button and subscribe button, the better this live stream goes, and more people can find it. But by all means, yes. Let me know what numbers the quest that you want to talk about is, because I'd love to know. I mean, Freemason's got some different numbers that that it likes, that it relies on, for different things in terms of its symbology or symbolism. Also, though, if you're talking about numbers in terms of dates, could stonemasonry predate humans? I mean, we're going back to 3.3 million years, so that's some pretty impressive numbers. Have to leave 1 p.m. Thursday. That's no problem. We'll have a shorter live stream, maybe, which would be no trouble at all. So yeah, we can have a shortened live stream on Thursday. YouTube has been putting a lot of small creators in my feed the past couple weeks. You just popped up. Well, I mean, I guess thank you to YouTube for that, because I'm definitely a smaller creator, so I appreciate getting some love from YouTube. I'm glad I just popped up. I hope that you're enjoying it. Like I said, I don't know if you are a Freemason yourself or if you have any interest in Freemasonry, but that is kind of the focus of the Squared and Compass Promotions channel altogether, is focusing on Freemasonry, which is absolutely my favorite thing in the world. But that's not all we talk about. We talk about scary movies because I love those. We talk about professional wrestling because I love that. But much of the focus is on horror movies. On horror movies. Much of the focus is on Freemasonry. So if you have any questions about Freemasonry, I hope that you'll ask them. If you are a Freemason, let me know more. Today, the question, could stonemasonry predate humans? The reason we're asking that is because stonemasonry is is where Freemasons trace our literal origins to. I have the first edition of Dr. Sleep. Yes, you told me that. That I would hold on to that if I were you. That might be worth some money someday. So I would not get rid of that one anytime soon if I were you. 27 votes, which has been great to see as well on this question. Could stonemasonry predate humans? Yes or no? Let me know if you're just jumping in for the first time. If you could please hit the like button and subscribe button. And also let me know what it is that you guys want to chat about and talk about. And that's the poll question. Could stonemasonry predate humans? I just wrote about that on Medium. So yeah. It's been great to see more people finding more of my stuff as well. I think it's just, like I said it before, it's just kind of a numbers game, right? So the more people finding this type of stuff, the more stuff that you are posting, I'm hoping that it helps people find it. 28 votes. Could stonemasonry predate humans? Yes, 61%. No, 39%. All right, so yes is still in the lead. Recently, I spent time in the maximum security prison. I'm guessing by whole you mean solitary confinement, is my assumption. One guard was a Freemason and would spend time chatting. Interesting guy. I hope he was interesting in a good way. I like to think of us Freemasons as being pretty interesting people altogether. Interesting enough, I used to work. I was in a guard. I was a rehab officer, but I worked in a jail, in the jail here in Windsor for about 5 years altogether, which feels like it was a very, very long time ago, but really it was only about 5 years ago. Thank you so much. Looks like we got another person who hit the like button, which we very much appreciate. Like I said, the more likes, the better this is. Also, of all the ways to spend time in, but I'm assuming is solitary in the whole, chatting with the guards is at least, one of the better ways to spend time, because there's not a ton to do, I know, and a lot of guys can spend it kind of waste the time chatting with guards, exercising, all that stuff. I mean, that's kind of the basic stuff that you can do. There's always something to do, always some positive way to spend your time. I used to run educational programs on things like anger management and getting a job and thoughts to feelings, they called it. And one of the big things I always talked about was there's always something positive that you can do, even in the worst situation, or try to find something positive. So maybe you used your time to find a little bit more out about Freemasonry, or at least, chatting to pass the time. Welcome, if you guys are just joining us, to the Square and Compass podcast live stream. Today we've been talking about the question, could stonemasonry predate humans? We've got 61% of people saying yes, 49% of people saying no, with 28 votes. The reason we ask this, as many people may know, Freemasonry traces its literal and figurative in some ways, but literal origins to stonemasonry and Masonic guilds. And so I think that taking the time to ask this question is a really important thing and really important part of it. And it's a really interesting question as well, right? I think sometimes with Freemasonry, we get so focused on kind of just the dates of like when Freemasonry was founded and all that type of stuff. We don't think about the more interesting esoteric questions like could stone like ancient history and things of that nature. Nicholas Romita, I am going to read A Christmas Carol next. The great story, one of the classics. In that case, though, the ghosts aren't even ghosts. They're just a case of bad beef, bad food, right? What's this? The quote, there's more morsel in you than, I forget how it goes, but Ebenezer Scrooge accuses the ghost of being the result of food poisoning, basically, at first. I always liked that quote. So let's have your take on the question. All right, well, my take, I answered yes. And I'll tell you why in just 1 second. Let me see if I can give me 1 sec. So the first question, so we got to ask, there's two main terms in there that we have to define. We have to define the term stonemasonry, which I'm defining as the shaping of stone, and humans, which I'm defining as Homo sapiens. So the earliest stone tools, which is a stone that has been shaped by a human for a specific purpose, dates to 3.3 million years ago. 3.3 million years ago, Homo sapiens had yet to evolve. At that time, it was most likely Australopithecus africanus, which was the hominid of the time. the famous skeleton of Lucy, or fossil of Lucy, was Australopithecus afarensis. And so, yes, I think stone masonry predates humans. I think it dates to our ancient ancestors on the evolutionary tree. Now, if you were to define stonemasonry as the actual building of structures with stone and joining of stone, then no, stonemasonry doesn't predate humans. Stonemasonry does predate history. It's prehistory. It dates to a time before human beings were building things, before we had written word, and but humans could still build things with stone. We just didn't have writing yet, but it doesn't predate humans. That's my take on the question. I hope that's a good answer. Um, I hope that you guys will, again, let me know what your take, though, is on the question. You know what is crazy about humans? They used to kill monsters. Now we just kill one another, sadly. I think, unfortunately, we've always killed one another. I think one of the earliest skeletons ever found actually had an arrowhead in his bone, like sticking out. But I agree that, well, but I mean, even some ways we do still kill monsters. I guess it depends how you define monster. Um, we were, in the old days, in some ways, it was more impressive. We didn't have the technology we have nowadays or the guns, and we managed to take down and kill, giant beasts and woolly mammoths and saber-toothed tigers, which they're not monsters in the sense of evil, but certainly they're monsters in the sense of being very, 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 very scary. I would not want to meet a, um, saber-tooth tiger out in the woods. Bigfoot. Boris Zemlo. Boris, welcome to the live stream. Please, if you can, I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and the subscribe button. Hitting both of those things helps other people find the live chat. Could stonemasonry predate humans? If you want to answer the chat question or the poll, you can. Let me know who Jacob is, though. I'd be curious to know what you mean by that. Let me know how you found us as well. Are you a Freemason yourself? Because this live stream is kind of dedicated primarily to Freemasonry. Or did you just find it through YouTube? How did you come across us? And do you have any questions? You don't just have to talk about the poll question. You can talk about anything you want to talk about. Like I said, the focus of this is on Freemasonry, but that doesn't mean that that's all we can talk about. Like, for example, the quest, I am a Rosicrucian. Okay, I don't know a ton about Rosicrucians, but I have some friends who are, and I know there are connections between Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry. They kind of connect historically as well. I actually had a whole, and there's the Rose Croix in Scottish Rite. I actually did a whole podcast episode about Rosicrucianism several years ago now, so I can't remember a lot about it, but if you want to share anything, let me know. Twin flames. So I mean, I kind of view Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism in that light. I think that they are both kind of twin flames, although it also kind of brings in the idea of the phoenix that we were talking about earlier, the phoenix mythology. The Quest brothers. Yeah, I don't know if you can expand on that at all. Certainly, like in Freemasonry, we're brothers with each other. Also, Rosicrucianism and Freemasonry, I think, are kind of have a lot of brotherly connections as well with each other, if that's kind of what you mean by that. So yeah, I think there's a lot of connections there. But it has been great to see all the people jumping in and responding to this chat so far. Thank you so much. I hope that you guys will stick around. like I was saying, please hit the like button and the subscribe button. The more people we have liking and subscribing, the better off other people will find it. I'm just going to grab a snack because I have been. Streaming is a lot of fun, but it's a lot of work as well. Well, the quest. I do. However, excuse me. I'm going to cough. Oh, choking on a chocolate bar. I do, although I will say also, just for the record, that if I could find it now, I am from Canada. Than the American $1 bill. We don't have the, for example, the pyramid on it or the all-seeing eye or anything like that. That's a toonie. Do we even have a loonie in here? I do. I've never seen it before. It's my dollar. But I mean, the dollar has a lot of symbols on it. I think the idea that it's Masonic symbols is a little bit overdone, to be honest. I don't think that's the case, but yeah. It's interesting to see. I know, like, people always say, well, Ben Franklin developed the bill and he was a Mason. He was a Mason, but his friend who designed the bill wasn't a Mason. So I sometimes question that. The dollar sign is a runic symbol. It is. So is actually the cult of thorns symbol from Samhain from Halloween. Speaking of scary movies that I love so much. What does everyone want to have on Christmas Eve and Christmas Day? Well, I say the classics are always the best, for the record. So I'm going to say turkey, cranberry. I love cranberry sauce. So turkey, cranberry sauce, all that good stuff. That's what I love. Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln and Benjamin Franklin. I did not know that. Thank you, The Quest, for sharing that. That's really cool. I appreciate you letting me know that. That's awesome. See, that's the thing I love about these chats is you get to learn more about people and about stuff I didn't know. So I did not know that. So thank you, The Quest. Ham on Christmas Eve and turkey on Christmas Day. That's a good combination. Yeah, give a few hearts for Thomas Jefferson and Lincoln and Ben. Thanks for religious freedom. I agree. Thank you for religious freedom as well. Freemasonry, for example, you have to believe in a supreme being, but you don't have to. You don't have to. It doesn't have to be a specific supreme being. So we have Masons of all different faiths and all different religions. The name Rosicrucian came from the rose-colored glasses they used in their. Um, I have to check out more of my episodes. I just released an episode a couple of days ago. It went really well. And I do plan to release several more. I do want to release an episode about this topic and early stone tools and early stone tool makers in particular. Is kind of one of my goals. So yeah, we're there. Through the Smithsonian, for example, Actually, I wonder if I can get a picture of it up, just out of curiosity. Here's some pictures of them. I'm going to share this screen just for fun in 1 second. Fanciful to speculate such a thing. A little bit of speculation is okay. The key word there being a little bit. You don't want to go crazy with it. I remember reading a book, which was a review of which was a review of literature and of the most kind of important literary books. And it was called The Golden Thread, because the idea was that it was a golden thread of ideas that came across all kind of through all literature, through all ages, but especially Western. All right, let's share this screen. We talk about the oldest stone tools. Thought to be 3.3 million years old, and were discovered at a site called Lomkwi 3, also in Kenya. And they're actually, so I guess, I know it's going to pop up in a second. Sometimes it takes a little while for the screen to pop up. But I guess CNN has decided to agree with me. Most ancient stone tools are thought to be 3.3 million years old. And then there you go. Sophisticated stone tools may predate humans. Thank you, CNN. Think of this, if you are on the side of CNN, or I know not everybody is, or if you're on the side of, if you're on the no side, and you can say as to why, hit the heart, or it gives some, not here at Simple join us, which was really awesome as well. So I really appreciate and love having people from all over the world, and both Masons and non-Masons. We talked a lot about Rosicrucianism, for example, which is not Masonic, but, well, it's not, somebody said in there, it's what's the word? It's as how I would describe it. I mean, I think there's cannibals in a few different areas of the world still. I don't know if it's just in India